Joining us now, of course, everybody knows the great Randy Moller. We have game one tonight, Eastern Conference Finals. Randy, I've tried my theme really on my show the last couple days is I'm trying not to take any of this for granted. Like, yes, it feels like the Panthers are where they're supposed to be. All right. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals for the third consecutive season, and they deserve every bit of it. But I'm trying not to take it for granted because who knows how much longer this current run is going to be? And who knows if we'll ever see it again in our lifetime? There were so many years where it was always 6 points out of the final playoff spot, And I try not to take any of this for granted.
Yeah, I think we're all like that. You kind of pinch yourself and you have to remind yourself where you're at again. And like you said, there's only 4 teams left in the NHL playoffs. The Panthers seem to have gotten better as the playoffs have gone here, especially in the closeout games. And it's really a special time. This Panther team, as you know, has been built for a number of years. And now we're seeing the fruits of their labor, going and winning the Stanley Cup last year, the year before, going to the finals. This year, have a great chance of going to the finals and maybe repeating winning the cup. We'll have to see. They're building a dynasty here. And what's really encouraging for me is even if if they come up short, they have a blueprint here. They have a culture in South Florida with this Panther team. It's not an old team. It's an experienced team, but not an old team. These players, the majority of the core players, are right in getting close to the prime of their careers, and they've got 4, 5, 6 years left in that. So that's really encouraging, and I'm really excited about how players that they have acquired, how they performed so far, and we can talk about that, like Brad Marchand. There's only one reason why the Panthers gave up what they did to get a Brad Marchand, because he's a winner and he brings the juice every game, and you're seeing the rewards now of what that veteran and how hungry he is to win another Stanley Cup, what he has done for the Florida Panthers, what he's done for Lundell and Lois Dorainen with that line. Number 2, Seth Jones. There was a lot of question marks about, the Panthers, you gave up too much, and Spencer Knight and draft picks and everything to get this guy. Well, the Panthers did their homework. You can't teach size and strength. And Seth Jones has all the talent. He's a big right-handed shooting defenseman, which are rare in the NHL. It's a high commodity. And he plays the game, and how quickly these two players have been able to immerse themselves in what we call Panther hockey. And that's been really impressive for me. It excites me now. But in saying that, I'm sure we'll talk about it. This is going to be a different animal against Carolina Hurricanes. So this will be the best defensive team that the Panthers will face in these playoffs.
Who do you think has faced a tougher test to get to this point right now? The Panthers getting through Tampa and Toronto, or the Hurricanes getting past Washington and New Jersey?
I think that the Hurricanes maybe had just a little bit easier road. They really shut down New Jersey and especially the Washington Capitals. They couldn't generate any offense. So that's going to be what I will talk about on our pregame show on Script Sports before we drop the puck, is how the Panthers are going to break through. The Carolina Hurricanes are averaging less than 2 goals a game allowed. They're number 1 in the NHL. They don't take bad penalties. They play disciplined. We all know, we've seen it before. The speed of this team, there's similarities between the Panthers and Carolina, how they love to use their speed, get in on the forecheck, force turnovers. Turnovers create into scoring chances. A lot of similarities between these two teams. I just think if you put apples to apples, the Panthers, if they play the same way as they have, everybody in the league talks about it. Not just you and I, Zaz. Everybody in the league talks about the depth of this hockey club. All four lines all play the same. They can interchange. Evan Rodriguez got hurt for a couple games. They put in Boquist. There was no drop in production. How about the fourth line? Every line is scoring now. The Panthers have the best third line in hockey. That's the Lundell, Loisterainen, and Marchand line. No other team can compete against that. So when you talk about matchups, how Carolina are going to match up. Okay, who's playing? Is the Aho line going to play against Barkov or going to play against Bennett? No problem, because you got the Lundell lines coming right back at you. And that's how the Panthers have won the first two series against Tampa and Toronto. They have to continue that way and that trend and how they play, and the intensity and the physicality in this series against Carolina like they did 2 years ago.
You know, how about obviously we know Paul Maurice has done a tremendous job, all right? And I've probably never been more wrong about anything in my life as I was about Paul Maurice a couple of years ago, and I couldn't be happier that I'm as wrong as I was about Paul Maurice. I love him now, right? He's the greatest. But how about Paul Maurice and just essentially the buttons that he's pushed this postseason where, okay, the fourth line for the Panthers has been terrific, and he made the changes by Greer, Gadjevich, now on that fourth line, and moving Carter Verhaeghe from the top line to the second line, where he's essentially unlocked playoff Carter Verhaeghe again, and even, okay, Evan Rodriguez is out, so yeah, Jesper Boquist's going to play, but we're going to put him on the top line, and he ends up scoring that night. And by the way, like you mentioned, that third line, everyone was talking about, oh, Bennett, Tkachuk, Marchand. That's going to be the line. It's like, no. We're going to put Marchand on the third line, and he's going to be with Loisterainen and Lundell, which has been the best line this postseason. I mean, Paul Maurice, he's getting all the combinations right, Randy.
He certainly is. And then you go to the defense pairs as well. Remember Ekblad, he had that suspension, a couple different suspensions, didn't start the Tampa series, didn't start the Toronto series. And to have those defense pairs, there's got to be a lot of chemistry between the two. They have to read off each other defensively. And when you added Seth Jones, everybody was asking, where's he going to play? Well, he's found his niche playing with Nico Mikkola. Those two great big defensemen with the reach, the size, and the intelligence, and to add a mixture of the physicality. They both love to jump up in the play. I agree with you. Paul Maurice. I remember, Zaz, 4 years ago when the Panthers, they scored the most goals in the NHL and Paul Maurice comes in, as you mentioned, and the Panthers struggled in the first half of that year. And I remember meeting, Goldie and I would meet with the coach just one-on-one. And he'd say, guys, just be patient, because what we're building here, and I have to change the mindset. I have to change the style of this hockey club. We have enough talent, but it's not sustainable in the postseason, in the playoffs. You have to be able to play a heavy game, not just run and gun and try and outscore your opponent. We've seen that from other teams. You've watched it even this year. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because you're going to get into those tight scoring, low scoring games, tight checking games, and you can't deviate away from it. And it took a long time for the Panthers and the players to accept it and then really look at it as a way to success. And now they embrace it, and they're able, and they have fun playing this way. But it took a long time, and like you said, Paul Maurice has come 180 on you. He did for a lot of people, whatever. But you can see, and it's easy to look back now and say, you know what? He was absolutely right, because the run and gun. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, all those goals that they scored, and Kucherov winning the Art Ross Trophy, and Braden Point and all this stuff. How did that work? They lost in 5 games, and that. How about the Toronto Maple Leafs with Marner, Matthews, Tavares, the core 4, Nylander, and all that? How did that work for them? But it takes a lot of mental strength and a lot of buy-in from the whole team. And I'll go back to one of my first comments that we were just talking about, the way that Marchand and Seth Jones. It took Seth Jones a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. I think he struggled with it. And I think once he got a taste of it or whatever, okay, I'm an intelligent player. This is how I have to play myself. I can't be everything to everyone. That's where Seth Jones came from. He came from Chicago, terrible hockey club. They're trying to rebuild. I understand. He had to be Superman every night. He had to be the best defensive player. He had to play 30 minutes. He had to lead the offense. He had to quarterback the power play. He had to do everything for everybody. He doesn't have to do that here, Zaz. All he's got to do is just play his shift, play his strength, move the puck, jump in, make smart defensive plays, and look how he's playing. It's the way that Bill Zito and his staff have recognized players like they did last year, Zaz. Remember, they went out and got Tarasenko. They went out and got Kyle Opozo, two veteran guys, the Stenlins and that. These players understood and fit in very quickly to the culture of this team, and they were big parts of the Stanley Cup run.
Do we care about the lack of days between the series? Panthers just won Sunday night. They're playing again tonight. Do we care?
I don't think so. Today's athlete, they take care of themselves, as it's not like when I played. Wink, wink. No, they and kudos to the coaches, the training staff, the team. These players, they are supplied everything that they need to recover. They have recovery days. They the team masseuse, all the different nutritional stuff, the meals that they eat after the games. They get the right rest. They don't travel after games and get into Carolina after the Sunday night game at 3:00 in the morning. They go to the hotel. There's a team dinner. They get their rest. Up in the morning, they got what they call recovery, and that they see the trainers, whoever needs to have some treatments. They have first class transportation, get into a first class hotel, the same thing over again, and make sure they're eating right and getting the right the rest. They're ready to go. It shouldn't be a problem. It's not like the old days.
Finally here, Randy, I want to ask you about a little bit more about Marchand. It was shocking, obviously, when the team traded for him. And as a
Yeah.
huge Panther fan, I didn't know how to feel. Like I really, 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 really disliked him over the last few years. Can you tell me what it's like? Well, a couple things. Number one, tell me what it's like in the room where the guys are able to, I don't know if it's flip a switch, but they probably went from hating competing against him to how do you then so easily welcome him in the room? Because it seems like they love him. And the second part is for me, I'm embarrassed that I guess I didn't even really realize how good a player he is because I was so fixated on he's a nuisance. I hate playing against him. And I'm not noticing all the other things that I notice now, which is just a winning hockey player.
You hit it. You hit it on the head. He is a player that he's like a Matthew Tkachuk. He's like a Bennett that other fans and other teams just can't stand and a pest. But it shows the competitiveness that he has, and he has a history. You look at his numbers in the playoffs and the game-winning goals and the series-winning goals. He's a lot like Carter Verhaeghe for the Panthers. And I've been broadcasting for so long and watching his whole career, 15, 16 years or whatever. The guy's a gamer. Whether you love him or hate him, man, he goes every shift and he gets underneath the skin. He plays a physical on the edge style, but he's been very disciplined for the Florida Panthers, especially in this playoffs and that. Not taking needless penalties. He's just working hard, fitting in. And that's the maturity. You mentioned that your first part of your question. He walks in the locker room. What happens? Oh my God. We just acquired the guy that we hate the most. And that was probably the feeling of the Panthers and their players. Okay. But that shows the maturity of the Bennetts, Tkachuk, Barkov, Ekblad, the veterans on this team to say, we know what type of player you are. You can come in and fit in with our culture, and we will welcome you with open arms. And credit to Marchand as well. He came in, shook everybody's hand, looked them in the eye, and said, I'm here for one reason, boys. I want to win. I want to win the Stanley Cup again. I've only won it once. I want to win it again. Let's roll up our sleeves and go to work. And that's exactly what's happened. And you know what? I've been around Brad Marchand. I did not know him at all. The first time I ever met him, he came up, "Hey, Randy, how you doing? Love your broadcast. I'm happy to be here. Whatever you need, just let me know." I'm
great.
looking at him like, is this the same guy?
It's great.
And he's really fit in. He's really fit in the culture of the team and that, and he's a gamer, man. There's one reason why they got him, Zaz, is to win. That's it. They don't need to sell more tickets. They don't need to have more people out in the community or whatever. They have all of that. They need him to win because he brings that juice that's so rare that you see once you get down to nitty gritty and back and down to the 4 teams.
So good. Randy, tell everybody how they can catch the coverage, the extra coverage tonight on Script Sports.
Script Sports, yes, all in South Florida. We're going to have it a half an hour program. Jovo and Jessica and I in the studio. Goldie and Katie are in Carolina. They'll have a couple of hits, get everybody up to date, what the lines are going to be, what we can expect from Carolinas. We'll take a look at all the stats, all the numbers and everything. It starts at 7:30. All these games in this series are all at 8 o'clock local. We're on at 7:30 in Broward. It's channel 39. Tune in. Jovo and I will be going head-to-head tonight.
Great stuff, Randy. Good catching up with you. Thank you.
Anytime, Zaz. Have a good one, buddy.